Hey everyone, I'm Dean and I'm the digital influencer for Dow, and today I'm doing a podcast with Colin, who's editor and sorts everything out and the creative idea behind it all. So
Cheers, Dean. Great to be here.
Yeah, I know, great to be here as well. Well, separate locations, but hey. We're here in spirit.
Yeah, we will get there. We will meet in.
Yeah. Once all this, COVID stuff is history and just a footnote memory or whatever you call it. Yeah. How did you set up DAO?
So Disability Arts Online, yeah, it's kind of been my baby, really. I've given a lot of my life to it, and it's been brilliant. It's not necessarily been an easy journey. I worked for the London Disability Arts Forum for about 6 years, running a monthly magazine, and then I left that job at the very end of 1999, and 2000 I started a new life, freelance, and I worked for the Northern Disability Arts Forum and one or two other disability arts things, but I had this idea about Disability Arts Online, and I had lots of conversations with Kwabena Gayedu, who was the disability officer at the Arts Council at the time. I was really lucky to have his support and the support of quite a few people from the disability arts sector, like Jeff Armstrong and Ruth Gould, Fabi, as she is now, and a few others. And the Arts Council were very keen. It was the beginning of the internet. They were very keen for it to be an internet magazine.
Yeah, because I remember when the internet was just running on phone dial and all that. And the thing is, I think it's the first time sort of people were able to access it from their computers, because funny enough, the internet has actually been around since 1969, technically. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that at first. When they said that, I was like, what? How? Back then they didn't have technology. What? I was just like, how was it came out in the 60s? I was like, that's impossible. But they had technology, it just wasn't as advanced as it is now. It was like a baby. It was just brewing.
Yeah. Much like Disability Arts Online.
Pretty much. Yeah. Started off as something small and then just expanded and then developed into the network we have today.
Yeah, it took a long time for it to gestate and to become a thing. It wasn't really until about 2010 when Trish Wheatley got involved that it really kind of started to become something a bit more solid and a bit more respected.
Well, yeah. What have been your favourite moments?
Well, there's been a lot of favourite moments. I think one of the key things for me has been working with disabled artists, and just seeing them really build careers for themselves. Matt Fraser. I remember the first time I met Matt. He was in a band. He was drummer in a band, and he had this idea that he wanted to be an actor. And he came in to see us, and he'd tried to get a part in as an alien in a sci-fi flick, and he had been rejected because of his disability, because of his short arms. And he was like, he came and said, what's this about? You know, what's going on? So, you know, we talked about the social model of disability and about, you know, discrimination and how it works. And then, you know, he went on to Grey Eye, and now he's like a household name, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like, because you say he was a drummer in a band and all that. I mean, kind of remind me, like, do you know the drummer of, what's that band, Def Leppard? He's only got one arm. And they're like one of the biggest bands in the world, you know. Def Leppard, you know, everyone knows about them, you know. Just goes to show that, you know, even people who, you know, disabilities could be just as good drummers as, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. It's determination. Determination, and also, Matt certainly had a lot of that, and a lot of charisma, and he put craft in as well, you know.
Also, another thing, that guitarist out of Black Sabbath, I think it's Tony Iommi or something. Yeah, he had an accident where his fingers got like cut off and all that. So what he did was he put like prosthetics on, and tuned his guitar up to be like, you know, so it's playable. And you know that heavy sound, you know what I mean? And that's where like heavy metal came from. And Black Sabbath, you know, were like, you know, if it weren't for them, there'd be no, you know, heavy metal or thrash metal bands or any of those, you know, any of those like hard rock metal bands you hear today. There'd be none of that without Black Sabbath. I mean, even Corey Taylor was saying, like, people who say all these heavy metal bands that say they didn't do it because of Black Sabbath, they're fucking lying. Yeah. So yeah. So Black Sabbath.
Yeah, they were the beginnings.
Yeah. All because he had an accident and, you know, had a bit of a disability of his own, and then came heavy metal. You know?
Yeah. It's human resilience, isn't it? You know, having the will to adapt and to change, and I think that's what disability arts is about a lot of the time.